Hello and welcome. Silrace here with Build a Showcase. Build on your screen right there. Pause the video if you wish to copy the exact main components, also listed in the description below. Panther 10p. You're going to see my first two games ever in Panther 10p variant in this particular, well, video you're watching. If you have basic and elite pilot skills, you might see a performance increase from this build. Note the word might. Might not see that big of a performance increase. And if you have the modules, those would help. I am not running modules and I have no pilot skills for the first game, and I think I had like co-run on this second game where it does not matter at all. Anyway, Panther 10p. This is the Panther variant nobody ever basically plays. You almost never see this thing like anywhere, and it's one of those reasons why I actually grabbed it. I bought it simply to, you know, at least play through the basics and figure out what kind of builds can I even do on this dang thing. And this is the first one I thought I would try out. I am not pretending that this is a good build, like at all. So yeah, take that with a grain of salt, and the results will obviously speak for that as well. I mean, look at the armaments. This hardpoint configuration on the Panther 10p would probably work if this was a 50 to 55 ton mech, or maybe even a 60 tonner. You could argue then this this hardpoint setup would work kind of well, actually, even. But on a 35 ton mech, there are very limited weaponry you can really get use of for it. And here, this particular build is something that's like, okay, this is silly. I need to try this. Does this actually achieve anything ever? So that's what I did the first time around with it. Now, if you want to actually play this build for yourself for whatever reason, let me just say that it isn't very effective. It doesn't get all that good. Well, you have to play it kind of like this. Like you need to try to be support fire for bigger mechs on your team, and try not to shoot them like I did there. Like try not to shoot those friendlies. And don't ever fight another light mech, like ever. Like the fact that I am going after this guy here is basically because he's like ignoring me, and even then it's probably not a good idea. Because every single other light mech and everything which actually wants to brawl is going to absolutely shred you. Just absolutely shred you. So, no. Stay away from brawls unless somebody is shooting at something bigger. You can take a shot, maybe couple, and occasional lasers or missiles just flying in your direction. You can take those and live. Because it's a 35 ton light mech after all. It does have a little bit of armor. And with this build, obviously, you know, the way I tend to build mechs, I don't skimp much on armor. But still, it's a light mech. And, well, let's just say it's not the most mobile light mech, especially with a build like this. Something to be said is that Panther 10p, this variant of Panther, gets much higher engine rating than the other Panthers. The other Panther variant get the 250 rated engine. This can get all the way up to 300 rated engine. However, if you mount that big of an engine and you consider the weapon hardpoint loadouts, you don't really do much with this mech after you put in a XL300 engine. Something to, you know, kind of keep in mind. And I have time to talk because, well, the final person on the enemy team decides to, you know, let's try to win with a cap when I'm alone. I mean, come on, can obviously try, but not really going to succeed all that well. And of course, I have to be careful, which is why I'm looking in this direction. My team is in the other direction, so I probably get an idea if he's coming my way from there, so I need to keep an eye on that side. Because, bloody heck, if I get caught alone against a local, I'm dead in this build. It's like, this thing just does not duel with other light mags at all. That is not its goal. I actually don't know what its goal is, other than scratch paint job on most things, because damage-wise this is very mediocre, very lackluster, beyond like below mediocre. Okay, so I mean, try this out for yourself if you have this mech, if you wanna have a little bit of amusement. Because, I mean, it's not all about just playing the most effective builds, at least it's not for me. I want to test out all these weird setups, and especially on mechs like this, which you almost never, you know, which you almost never see on the battlefield. Yeah, this is me, you know, typing things down. Because that is true. What I just wrote there is entirely true. If this was a skirmish, we would probably have to chase this guy for another 7 minutes, because I can't duel him. So yeah, since it's, however, in Conquest, we can win this before the timer runs out. So yeah, there is that. We have soon all 5 bases, and the game is about to end, so next game, huh? Next game. Moving on from Tourmaline Desert to this map, Polar Highlands. As in from desert to something which is really cold, and heat really does not matter too much for this build. I believe I picked up Cool Run from the first game to get into this one. Cool Run and maybe heat content, maybe I had both of them. Basically doesn't matter for this particular build. So yeah, there is that. But anyway, different game mode, different map, all that good stuff. This thing doesn't overheat like ever. I mean, even if you just fire the AC2 at its fastest rate of fire, you don't really overheat all that fast anyway. So yeah. But you could saw the awesome damage numbers at the end of that game, right? I mean, this is brilliant build. It will absolutely win you every single game, single-handedly. That had a lot of singles in it. Okay, let's hide at the very edge of this cap zone. I don't want to, you know, die. I'll happily help, you know, keep this since I'm a light mech. And wait for the big boys to get in here, but I have no reason to poke around there in like to get shot at by something. But also do remember with this build, there is an AC2. AC2 has a whole lot of reach. You can hang back, you can support fire, except you don't do much damage. You just scratch at things, but you can support fire. And it's still an AC, it's an autocannon, so the shots will still make people like, you know, some of the newer players and people who just don't like their cockpits being rattled to back off, because they think they are getting shot at by something which actually does damage. This thing doesn't. Okay, so here we go. Lots of things there. Let's shoot a couple of them and pull back a little bit. I love people who waste missiles on light mechs. when they are on the enemy team. When they are on my team, I absolutely hate it. Please don't waste missiles on light mechs if you have actual targets instead. Because, oh, bloody heck. I mean, look at the missile spam back and forth. The usual Polar Highlands game, you would say, but hey, I'm gonna shoot at that guy, and then he runs away because he got shot by an AC2. That's what I was talking about, right? That's what I was talking about. But this is the whole support fire thing, and I mean, if folks want to shoot at me, there's UAV about my team and all that stuff. Nobody notices that. I mean, come on, he's trying to PPC me. I'm quite okay with that. I mean, fine, whatever. You can try to PPC me. Can I take UAV down with an AC2? I actually even don't know. Maybe. Yep, there we go. UAV kill with an AC2. I did something to help my team out. Fantastic stuff. Okay, lots of guys. Let's turn around, avoid being shot at by everybody. And
new target acquired.
This is what this build, to my mind, does. Basically, just shoot at things with an AC2 from far away, and that's all it basically does.
New target acquired.
Right? That's all it basically does. The SRM2s are very nifty when things get close, because they eventually will get close distance. And when something like another light mech comes poking at you, then of course. But overall, as a tip to anybody and everybody who gets shot at by ACs like an AC2, the cockpit roll does not affect your crosshair. Doesn't matter how much your cockpit shakes, your crosshair does not shake. You still shoot the exact same, you know, accuracy and location as you did, even if nobody's shooting at your mech. Just something to keep in mind on if you're a newer player or you just hadn't realized that particular thing. One of those little things, like, doesn't matter who all shoots at you, just keep shooting because your crosshair is still in the same location. I'm just, you know, I still have 200 shots for this AC2. My team is probably gonna be dead before I get all of those ammo out, though. But hey, I'm trying. I am putting shots out. Do you see my heat meter even moving anywhere? Probably not. And there we go again. Missiles at a light mech? Really? Sure. I mean, at this point, somebody actually provides him with a little bit of assistance for actually targeting me, so get some of those missiles in, and I didn't dip into this crag here at the back to avoid all of that, and this is me trying to tank, you know. I'm trying to keep enemies busy on this flank while hoping my team does work on the other flank, but nope. I mean, LRM boats have an ECM, well, LRM boats on the enemy team have a, well, Norek mech to go with them and all that good stuff. The usual way a Polar Highlands map tends to go. People vote this map when they have lots of missiles on their mechs. I don't mind. I just don't play long-range missiles myself, and this game allowed me to really test this build out fairly well on here, and I will end up being the last mech alive. I have tanked fairly okay with this. Like the shield arm is pretty much down. Like there is no armor on it anymore. I have orange armor on part of my mech and so forth. But yeah, this build is okay for hilarious stuff, but it's not very effective. But if you have Panther 10p, if you own this mech for some odd reason, then give this build a try. You might get some amusement out of it. I know for a fact I did, and I plan to play it a little bit more to you know, finish basicing this thing out, maybe even eliting out, and play it around with this build anyway. Thank you very much for watching.